Once upon a time, Daryl Dixon was the quiet, crossbow-wielding wild card who stole every scene he was in. Now, he's just AMC's cash cow. Today, we're talking about how AMC turned their most interesting original character into one of the show's biggest disappointments. Now, real quick, let me just say, this is not a Daryl hate video. As I love the actor, I love the character. He's still one of my favorites. But somewhere along the line, AMC went from writing a complicated and layered character to making him the brooding guy in the corner that communicates and grunts and has arguably more plot armor than Rick. Hey everyone, my name is Pat. If you find yourself enjoying the video, I'd appreciate if you liked, subscribed, and put on post notifications along with checking out my second channel. Link will be in the description below. Thanks guys. Also disclaimer, I've been sick for about a week. It's mostly gone now, so hopefully I sound okay, but that's why I haven't uploaded in over a week. But now let's get back to the video. Early Daryl had depth. In season 1, he's a hot-headed redneck with a chip on his shoulder and a tendency to blow up on people. But underneath that, there's loyalty, pain, and almost childlike need for connection. Over the first few seasons, we watched him grow from a guy who could barely work in a group to someone willing to risk his life for it. Look at the Sophia storyline in season 2. Daryl was out there every single day, searching like she was his own kid. Or his slow burn friendship with Carol, which went from mutual respect to deep emotional trust within each other. Or in that episode in season 4, where Daryl and Beth are alone together and he has to protect her. And during that, he gets upset and drunk, lets his guard down and breaks into tears. In a way that makes you realize there's a lot more going on under the surface, and he truly felt for the people he thought he had lost at the time and the ones he truly did lose. And of course, I cannot forget to mention his relationship with Rick, going from tossing squirrels at him because Rick handcuffed his own brother to a roof in the city to becoming Rick's best friend and right-hand man. Always reliable and having Rick's back. But somewhere along the way, his character became boring. The things I liked about him had started to fade. And for me, I really started to notice that moment after Rick's disappearance in season 9. This should have been Daryl's moment to finally step up and lead. I know that later he does become one of the main leaders of Alexandria after Rick's disappearance, but you would think we'd see a whole new side of him. But instead, we basically got the same grumpy, quiet guy we've been watching for nearly over a decade. You'd think this was Daryl's moment to finally step into a leadership role and change and embody it and become not a completely new character, but evolve again, like many other characters have multiple times throughout the show. He'd been second in command for years. He had the loyalty of the group. He'd been through hell and back. This was his time to grow into something more. Instead, AMC kept him stuck in the same gruff loner with a heart of gold routine he's been doing since season 4. And don't get me wrong, I do like that. But it gets boring after 6 seasons. Sure, he's had nice moments with other characters including Judith and his dynamic with Carol. But there's been almost zero change or evolution with him the last few seasons and with his spin-off. They missed so many opportunities after Rick left. Daryl could have taken over Alexandria. He could have been forced to clash with other leaders like Maggie. There's so many possibilities, but instead, he ditches Alexandria and disappears in search of Rick for 6 years just to end up hooking up with a girl named Leah who he ends up killing anyways. So what was the point? Especially because he never even found Rick, which I can't blame him for because we all know where Rick was. Now, I did see this comment on Reddit that I liked, that someone explains the mindset and logic behind it and why Daryl did what he did. I do think it makes some sense and it's worth taking a look at, so I'll leave it up on screen if you want to read it. Now let's get real. The reason the character has gone stale is obvious. AMC realized they had a gold mine in Daryl Dixon. Action figure sales through the roof. T-shirts, mugs, posters, all sold like crazy. I'm sure even crossbow sales increased a ton during The Walking Dead's peak. Hell, his fandom online, and especially Reddit, is bordering cult activity. Y'all remember when he was wearing the orange backpack and everyone online was saying if Daryl dies we riot? I'm sure I'll even get some of the Daryl stans in my comments dogging me out for this video. But once you become the cash cow, you don't get the risky storylines anymore. You get plot armor so strong it makes no sense. Negan killing Glenn for Daryl punching him. Or when Rick and Daryl are chasing the truck with a machine gun. And it's only gotten worse with his spin-off. Which, speaking of his spin-off, don't get me wrong, I like seeing more of him and was really looking forward to the show. I can't lie, I was hyped. and I did enjoy it. But it felt more like AMC didn't want to get rid of their moneymaker, and instead of taking their time to come up with an actual good and compelling story, they rushed it. And it's like AMC is saying, look, it's Daryl Dixon, you'll watch it, and thought we wouldn't notice or care because it's Daryl Dixon. Instead of pushing his character forward, AMC leaned on his popularity as a way to keep fans watching, and it worked. But at the cost of him being an actual interesting character. And that's what really stings. We could have seen real potential growth from the character. Daryl could have evolved into a real leader of Alexandria. Like I mentioned, he could have had real political conflicts with Maggie or Negan, taken more of a center stage with the Commonwealth story arc, could have faced his own emotional walls and finally built something permanent. A home, a family, stability, something. We could have watched him change in ways that would have made sense and were earned, and that us viewers would have enjoyed to watch. But instead, AMC seemed terrified of messing with their golden boy in case fans didn't like it, so they froze him in place. Compare him to Carol, who's had one of the wildest character transformations in TV history. Or Negan, who went from the show's most hated villain to a complicated anti-hero, which aren't my words, and I know that's a controversial take. Or Maggie, whose story has shifted with every major plot hole. Oh wait, I forgot she's been stuck on the whole Negan-Glenn thing the last few seasons. Here's a better example. Eugene, who went from a cowardice liar to learning to overcome his fear and use his intelligence for good and to help our group even defeat the saviors. Or Gabriel, who went back and forth with his own battle of religion and not even being able to kill a single walker to becoming one of the biggest and best leaders of Alexandria and of our group. I know the show can do it. There's a lot of characters in the show that have had insane transformations and character arcs. Whereas Daryl, not much for his character has changed. At least from the last transition, which was from angry redneck to quiet loner. And don't get me wrong, I loved that transformation and Daryl's character. But he's been the same way since season 7. You could even argue he hasn't changed since season 4, really. But I personally think that the prisoner arc with the Saviors did have an impact on his character, and I personally enjoyed it. After all, it was not easy street for that man. But since then, his character has been stuck and stagnant. Here's the thing, when you refuse to let a character grow, you kill what made them great in the first place. Daryl wasn't loved because he was cool. He was loved because he changed and he surprised us. He made us care about his character. In the first few episodes, most people did not like Daryl. He came off as arrogant, rude, disrespectful. A lot more words I can use to describe him. But then just as quickly as he made us dislike him, he made us fall in love with his character in a few more episodes. And it just kept going and going for the next few seasons as he grew and grew. He became a better group member. And we get to see him flesh out his bonds and relationships with the characters one-on-one. Safe writing kills characters just as much as bad writing does. AMC turning Daryl into their corporate mascot robbed us of the chance to see one of the best original TV characters truly evolve. I love Daryl. That's why I'm frustrated, and that's why I'm making this video. The man we got in the latter seasons is a shell of the Daryl we had in the beginning. Norman Reedus gave this character his all. After all, Daryl Dixon was made specifically for Norman Reedus in the TV show, and only him. Daryl Dixon deserved to be more than a brand or mascot. But what do you think? Was Daryl's story in the end okay? Or do you think AMC played it way too safe with him? Let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe, put on those post notifications, and as always, stay safe, stay snazzy, and stay blessed.